Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new PTCGO video, and we're going to be looking at a deck that is extremely bad. Well, it's not bad, I mean, it's an alright deck, I guess, but it's a very unlikely combo of a deck, and that is going to be a Hoopa deck. Now, Hoopa EX is mostly just used for Scoundrel Ring. Just, it's used in stuff like Mega Rayquaza decks, or, decks that just play a lot of EXs, right? You can just play it down, grab 3 EX Pokemon, and go from there. But other than that, Hoopa is just not that good. I mean, Hyperspace Fury, it would take 3 turns to power up with Lightning Energy. You would have to play, with Lightning Energy, Psychic Energy, sorry. You would have to power up this thing in 3 turns, which you can't even use Dimension Valley because it doesn't have any colorless. So this card is pretty bad in terms of attacking. Its ability is pretty nice, but other than that, I mean, its full art is probably the sexiest full art I've ever seen. But we're actually going to make a deck around this card that actually attacks with it. I am not kidding. This deck is literally a deck that you use to attack with Hoopa. So the star of this deck is obviously not going to be Hoopa. It's actually going to be Manectric EX. Manectric EX has the attack Turbo Bolt. Obviously, this card is just great because it can energy acceleration. Or that's not even a word, is it? But whatever. We're going to make it a word. You can actually use this for energy acceleration to put energies onto your Hoopa, Hyperspace Fury them when you attach him again, and then you can retreat for 2, Turbo Bolt, put the 2 you just retreated for back onto the Hoopa, rinse and repeat, and you can actually snipe the bench, and there may be something on the bench that you could actually snipe for a knockout. I mean, maybe something like Aromatisse, maybe Shaman. If you overrun it for, earlier on, you can actually do that. You can, hit 100 for, like, maybe an Altaria or, like, Raichu, maybe, like, a Golbat. There's all kinds of stuff you can actually Hyperspace Fury and knock out. Also, another cool thing about this, you can actually play it with Wide Lens. Now, this is a very bad card. I mean, it's not a bad card, but, I mean, no one's really going to run it unless it's like a Noivern deck, but Noivern doesn't hit anything for weakness anymore in Standard. So Wide Lens is not that great of a card. However, you can actually run it with Hoopa, and if they have a Hoopa, a Lucario, or really anything that's weak to Psychic on their bench, you can actually knock them out if you have a Wide Lens on Hoopa, which is actually pretty hilarious. I had a game where he benched a Hoopa EX and he used it to grab whatever, and then later on in the game I actually won the game because I played a Wide Lens on this Hoopa, and then I knocked it out. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording because it was the most hilarious thing I've ever done in my life, but you can actually play Wide Lens on Hoopa and actually knock out some pretty funny stuff on the bench. So, it's just a really hilarious card in this deck, combo with Hoopa. And obviously, that's kind of the point of the deck. You just play Turbo Bolt, power up a Hoopa EX, and then Hyperspace Fury and knock something out. You won't always use Hoopa EX unless, like, you're playing against a deck that relies heavily on their bench. Like, if you play against a deck that relies super heavily on stuff that they play on their bench that has low attack or low HP, you can actually use Hoopa, but you're not really going to use Hoopa all that much. So I don't know if we're ever going to use Hoopa all that much, but if we ever do, we can do it with that. And we always have the Manectric EX as a great main attacker. Hoopa is just there to be funny. Some other stuff in this deck, we do play a Lugia, another EX attacker. I don't even know if you need it at this point, but we will use it for Arrow Ball. We also run a Shaman. Since, we do play the Hoopa, you can grab 3 EXs. Shaman could be a great EX to grab to get you out of a sticky situation. So we do play the one Shaman just for the amazing ability of setup. Now, we also run Deoxys EX in this deck. A lot of people may, be like, Deoxys EX, why would you play that? Well, you can use it for Overdrive Smash. You may have matchups where you do need to, counter stuff like Regice or maybe Powdon. Even though Deoxys will probably fall very easily to them, you can always use it for Overdrive Smash. Also, if you do, not get a great hand, you do start with Deoxys, you can always do Close Encounter and, try and, get yourself a new hand or try to, get some nice cards with, close encounter, so it's just a nice little psychic type attacker in this deck. Yeah, that's the Pokemon line. Very hilarious. Like I said, we're not always going to use Hoopa, but we are going to use it in some situations. You never know. So some other stuff, we do play 2 Acrobikes. A nice card to run in this deck. You know, look at the top 2 cards, and then put 1 card from your hand, discard the other card, and you can get rid of energies. You can't even see the energies we play, so we're going to have to show you guys that in a minute. We do play 2 Battle Compressor, obviously, to get some Psychics in the discard pile. We got Enhanced Hammer. Don't even think you need it in this deck, but we are going to run it just to, you know, slow down a couple decks that rely on special energies. And, yeah, that's why we run Enhanced Hammer. We got a Professor's Letter, since we do play different types of energies. It allows us to get our, you know, psychic energies if we ever need to. Or you just, you know, we play 2 different types, so why not run Professor's Letter? We play 2 Switch. I don't think you need 2, but, you know, you never know. You may not even be able to retreat with Hoopa EX. Most of the time, you may not even be able to retreat with it, so 2 Switch is amazing to get that Hoopa out of the active spot, and then go for Turbo Bolt, power up the Hoopa again. So we actually are going to run 2 Switches in this deck. We also run 2 Trainer's Mail just to grab those item cards that we need. Since we actually do play quite a fair amount of items, we are going to run the 2 Trainer's Mail. 3 might be a little bit of a better amount, but we are going to run the 2. We also play 4 Ultra Balls. Just, it's a great card. You start with it, you grab your Hoopa, grab your EXs, go ham from there. We play 4 Versus Seeker, a nice card. We play Lysander, you know, in case we ever need to use it on something. Even though we do run Hoopa, we don't really need the Lysander all the time, but we still might use it in some spots. We do play Center Lady. This is a card I've been using quite a bit now. It's pretty fun to use. You know, it just heals Magnetric off, and with Rough Seas, it can even make it work even more. We got 2 Birch's Observations. Just, you know, nice draw card. I don't know what the best draw cards are at the moment, so we are going to go with that. We got the 4 Sycamores, the 3 Shaunas. Not as good as Pont, but it's still in the deck. We got 2 Rough Seas. Another nice card. Whoops. You know, just, you know, Mega Manectric is still like our main attacker of the deck, if you want to call it that. So we are going to run the 2 Rough Seas. We are going to use Hoopa a little bit, but we are going to use the Manectric EX. So Rough Seas is nice. We got, we play 1 Hard Charm. In case we don't want to play the Wide Lens on Hoopa, we'll just play the Hard Charm on it. And then, bam, Hoopa takes a little less damage. Nice little card. You never know, Hard Charm come in handy anyways. Something else, maybe Mega Manectric, since we do play the healing. We got 3 Spirit Links, since we do run the 3 Mega Manectric. Pardon me. We went over the Wide Lens already, but we do play the Wide Lens for the Hoopa. Or you never know, we might even use it for Overrun. I mean, that'd be hilarious if we ever do. We got 1 Headringer, just in case, you know, we ever need to use Manectric as an attacker. We always have the Headringer. Soul Laser plus Headringer is an annoying card and a nice card to play. We do play 1 Mystery Energy. Now, I think 2 or even 3 might be a little better, because you can play this on the Hoopa, and then your Hoopa has the free retreat, and then you can retreat your Hoopa for free, and then you can keep doing that combo. So I actually would favor 2 to 3 Mystery Energy. So run that if you want. I didn't put it in because I didn't have enough space, but you could play 2 to 3 to get that Hoopa, that free retreat that you need. So that could be a really nice card for this deck. Like I said, this is nothing too competitive, just a little fun deck I made where you actually attack with Hoopa. So yeah, we got 5 Lightning, and then we're going to have to minimize this just because it won't show the rest. And then we have the 5 Psychic Energies, obviously, for the Hoopa EX. So that's the deck. Yes, a deck that actually uses Hoopa to attack with it sometimes. Very weird deck, but we are going to try it out. And we're going to see if we can get a nice game on this on PTCGO. And let's get into the game. Whoosh. I don't even know why I did that sound effect, but let's get into the game now. Alright, let's get straight into this game. I actually got a game with OmniStar here. If you don't know him, he's a streamer on Twitch. I definitely recommend you go watch his streams. They're very good. But I asked him if he wanted to have a little friendly battle so I could try out this deck and make a video on it, and I did. So, there we go. So we actually do start with Hoopa, but we do have Switch in our hand, so that's pretty good. And we'll see how this goes. We see him open with Manectric, so it might be his Mega Manectric Golurk deck, which is probably what it is. So we'll see what happens. We're going to Ultra Ball, grab a Hoopa, play the Hoopa, and then we can go ham from there. We can actually grab the Manectric, and then 2 Manectrics. I'm actually not going to grab anything else, because I am going to plan on Sycamore, and I don't want to play a Shaman and then grab a bunch of garbage that I'm going to Sycamore away, so we're not going to do that. We are going to switch out into the Manectric EX active, since we don't want to leave Hoopa there. Go for that Sycamore. Hopefully we get a Lightning, and we do perfect. Nice little hand, and I'm actually just going to pass for my turn. if this is his Golurk deck, the Golurk can actually hit the Hoopa for weakness, which could be very annoying, but we could always snipe his Golett, so, I mean, who knows, we could actually do some pretty crazy shenanigans there. Like I said, it's a friend battle, so it's not actually in the, versus mode itself, but it's just a little friendly battle I decided to do with, OmniStar. I will link his, Twitch in the description below, so definitely go check him out. He's a great guy, a great streamer. His streams are very entertaining. One of my favorite PTCGO streamers to watch. So we'll see how this goes. And I'm like, I have the best deck in the format, Kappa, just because I'm playing a deck that attacks with Hoopa. Best deck in the format, right? You never would have expected a Hoopa deck that attacks. So we see him play a Birch. We see a Battle Compressor. He's probably going to get rid of some energies. Like I said, this kind of is a little rough for me. Golurk does actually hit the Manectric for weakness and the Hoopa for weakness because of that ability. So that could be very annoying, but we may not actually see that actually happen here. So we'll see. I make blah blah blah. I'm stuttering. I do need to make a Golurk video, so I'll probably work on that soon. So we see an overrun hitting both Manectrics. I would have hit the Hoopa because if I play Rough Seas, it would have been Kappa. So we can actually get the Mega Manectric going here. And I'm going to go for that. I'm actually going to grab a Sycamore because I want to get rid of these Psychic Energies this turn. And looks like we can just go for a Turbo Bolt here for 110 damage. We can actually put 2 Psychic Energies onto our Hoopa EX. And we actually will attack with it, which is pretty hilarious. So next turn, if we get a Psychic, we can knock out this Mega Manectric EX, I think. Or, we can. Yeah, we can. He just has enough HP. But if we see a Rough Seas come down, we're in trouble. We see another Birch get a Hedge, which is pretty annoying. And we see a Turbo Bolt for 110. Charging up that Golett. I think I'm just going to put a Lightning on the Manectric. I don't think I'm going to need to use the Hoopa just yet. I really don't want to walk into a Golurk that could knock me out. That'd be very annoying. So I think I'm just going to go for I'm going to Battle Compressor. I'm going to get another Psychic in the discard pile. Or 2 Lightnings, or whatever I go with here. And I think I am going to get 2 Lightnings in there. Just because I do want to use the Manectric EX as a response in case he does manage to knock out my Mega Mans. So I'm just going to discard a Lysander, 2 Lightnings, because I am going to go Turbo Bolt here. That means I am going to have 3 on the Manectric, but whatever. And we do get a Rough Seas here, which I am going to play. I choose not to play a Tool, because I don't want to, him for Soul Laser me. And that would just be very annoying. So we're just going to go with the Turbo Bolt. I'm going to put 2 energies onto our Manectric EX. Obviously, we don't want to have 3 on it, but hey, man, you never know. I may need to retrieve with it in the future, so we are going to do that. We can't get the Mega Manectric going next turn. I don't want to play any more tools onto the Hoopas just because I don't want him to, do 120 with the Soul Laser. Also, another thing, what am I saying? He doesn't have a weakness to Psychic, right? There's no weakness to Psychic on his field, so unfortunately Wide Lens won't work. We could play Hard Charm, but that would still be enough to knock out the Hoopa with the Soul Laser, so we're not even going to bother playing any tools down. We're going to probably just see an Overrun here, which probably isn't what Omni wanted to do. We see a Lugia come down, which is a free prize for me if we ever need it, but the Shaman is in play also, so it's not a big deal. We're going to look through his discard. We see him grab the Golurk, which definitely might be used to knock out the Hoopa. And I'm actually going to use this Hoopa here. I want to show it off at some point, so we are going to attack with the Hoopa. And we just see an Overrun for 20, and he's probably going to hit the Manectric. Yep. But if we do get a Rough Seas, that would have done 0 to that Manectric. We're going to just, evolve into the Mega Man. Why not? It's in our hand. I'm going to go with the Shauna, and we didn't really get what we wanted here, but it was still a decent Shauna nonetheless. We're going to play Trainer's Mail. And we are going to grab that Head Ringer because we are going to use it. And we are going to put that Head Ringer onto the Manectric or the Lugia. But there's no point because we already have Mega Manectric in play. So we are going to do that. We're going to Turbo Bolt for 110. And if we get an energy next turn, we're actually going to use Hyperspace Fury. Which I didn't actually think we would use. But we are actually going to use Hyperspace Fury next turn if we get an energy here to knock out this Manectric on the bench. We're going to see an Ace Trainer, but that's fine. We still managed to get a Sycamore and a Rough Seas, actually. And we're going to see him retreat into the Manectric. I think he just made a huge misplay there. He probably forgot about the Head Ringer. And, yeah, he goes for an Overrun. So definitely a misplay from Omni. And, yeah, he says, oops. And I'm just going to be like, lol. Or, let my ass on lol. And then I say, Hoopa time, boys. Because I am probably going to attack with Hoopa this turn. Hoping I get an energy. And see what happens there. I'm going to play that Rough Seas down, heal off the Manectric a little bit, and we're going to go for that, and we didn't get the Psychic, but we did get the Professor's Letter, and I grabbed both just to thin out my deck, too. So we're going to actually use Hyperspace Fury this game. I didn't think we would ever need to, but we are going to use Hyperspace Fury to actually knock out a Manectric EX, so just like that, we take out a knockout with Hoopa. I didn't think we would ever do it, but hey, we actually managed to do it. So, I mean, he didn't play anything weak to Hoopa on the bench or anything, but we can do that. And we do see a knockout because of that Golurk's ability, which is actually a little rough because he can actually win. Now, never mind, we got the VS Seeker top deck. It's actually going to be a close game if he didn't man it, because he could have knocked out the Manectric EX Mega Man. But I did top deck a VS Seeker here, which is nice. So we actually do win. So it's going to give him that GG because we do actually win because we do have the VS Seeker in our hand. I'm just going to play down a bunch of stuff. Deoxys, Lugia. I'm going to put that wide lens on. And, and you know, we're just talking back and forth here. Yeah, GG, man. And I'm going to say Lemon. He's going to say, haha, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say Hoopa for the win because we actually managed to attack with Hoopa. We're not going to be able to take the last prize with Hoopa, but we are going to win nonetheless. And we're going to go for a Turbo Bolt, knock out that Lugia, and then we can power up another Hoopa, but we don't need to because we already won. But nonetheless, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. A bit of a wacky video, I know, a bit of a wacky deck, because whoever would have thought you would ever use Hoopa to attack, but I actually managed to make a deck where Hoopa attacks, and we did manage to show it off and knock out a Manectric EX, so we did manage to show off Hoopa this game, which was the goal. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to check out OmniStar. Link to his Twitch will be in the description down below. Make sure you guys go follow his stream and go check out his streams too. He streams, I'm pretty sure, like, he streams every night. And he is actually doing a tournament. Actually, never mind, what am I saying? I'm pre-recording this on a Sunday. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on another video. Adios.